Alrighty, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Daily Roundup. I hope everybody's doing well. Let me see if you guys can see me. It is hot, so hot here. You're going to hear me complain for months. I'm going to apologize in advance, but this is like ridiculous. We don't see this type of heat usually for another month, which is scary. You know, when you live in like one of the hottest places in the world, that's where I live, it's scary when things start to heat up earlier than normal. You know, like, because if you live in like the UK, for example, and you're like, oh yeah, you know, it's getting a little warmer earlier. Yeah, for us, it gets to a point where like it becomes unlivable. Alex says the same here in Lisbon. It's so hot for this time of year. It's not normal. Yeah, I think we're all going through like a heat wave, but let's just hope it subsides at some point. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for like a really rainy, we call them, we didn't even have ours last year. Monsoon. We didn't even have a monsoon season. Anyway, enough about weather. Let's talk about the markets. So, right now the markets are fairly quiet. Stocks are actually, the S&P is trading pretty heavy, and the NASDAQ, if you look at the NASDAQ, let me show you the difference between the markets here. The NASDAQ was popping higher, and we were at the highs of the session, right? The S&P was trading heavy, and also the Dow's trading heavy. So now the Dow and the S&P are hitting new lows of the session, okay? And because they're hitting new lows of the session, now I would be a little concerned if you're short dollars. So what you'll notice is the Aussie started to roll over here. And by the way, I'm going to put it on an hourly chart just because I want you guys to see what I'm thinking right at this moment. This is the risk for like stocks, because if the NASDAQ rolls over, if the NASDAQ rolls over, the S&P, or excuse me, then that means the S&P and the Dow are really going to start to move lower. That means, currencies like the Aussie, we may challenge that 77, or 76.90 again. Kiwi rolling over a little bit here too. Dollar Canadian bounced off. You can see this little trend line that I drew here, because I had it earlier at 2150, right? Kind of looked like that. And I'm like, I tilted it down this morning to catch these tops, right? And that seems to be holding. So, this could look something like yay, right? Dollar Mexican peso is holding up. So I think we have to be a little careful if the dollar Mexican peso starts to pop like some of this resistance here. Okay. So anyway, I think it's something that we need to take note of, that stocks are trading a little heavier. So that could usher in some more dollar strength. Remember, I wouldn't get too carried away with dollar strength ahead of Wednesday's FOMC, but that doesn't mean that we can't continue to see a little bit of a bounce. Remember, the dollar is really held above this support, and I think this 89.50 is really key. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do this. That's not what I want to do. If we do this, where we rally to like 90.80 and then roll over again ahead of Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I guess what I'm trying to say here is just don't get too carried away with dollar longs if we break new highs. The flip side is, if you're short dollars, just be a little careful, because stocks are trading a little heavy. Amira says that Israel, it is 25 degrees Celsius. That would be nice. Here, Amira, I'm 46 degrees Celsius. Jason says, does your AC units make a difference when it gets really hot? Yes. This is the time of year when your AC units usually break down too, because they're working overtime. Like you have to imagine, like for the next 2 months, my AC units will almost be running all the time. That's, you know, that's it. Amir says the SMH looks good and Qs are up. Let's take a look at SMH. Yeah, this might be what's dragging up the Qs, but yeah, I would say we're right up against resistance here. You know, so if the NASDAQ does roll over here, or let's say the semiconductors really roll over here, that might be a big deal. Gorkin says, hey, Blake, do you think gold can see new lows? You know, I don't know. I'm gonna see if it can hold this 18. We talked about this 1845 level again. I think that if the dollar picks up a little bit of steam, we might do this. I don't know if gold's going to break here. I think gold breaks through this 1845 level following the FOMC, not before. And Gorkum just asked, he said before the FOMC. My opinion is probably not. I believe that 200-day moving average in gold will be the bull bear line following the FOMC, which is good because let's fast forward to Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday, let's say on Wednesday, gold breaks down below the 200-day moving average, below today's lows. That would signal to me that I have to be long dollars no matter what. I don't know if I'll necessarily trade gold. You could say, oh, you know, maybe I'll just short gold to express my dollar bullish view. Sure, if you want to. I think that's probably would end up working out pretty well because the 618 retracement is what we rejected, you know, 3 weeks ago. But I do believe that this 200-day is going to be very critical, and I think it'll tell us a lot. If we break through that, we need to be long dollars, right? That would be my opinion. All right, guys, it's kind of slow. Just be really careful, and you know, just be really careful the next couple of days. Everybody's waiting for Wednesday. You, me, and everybody else. So just remember that. All right, guys and gals, I want to thank you all. Have a great day and great afternoon. I want to thank you all for your support, as always. I will catch you tomorrow morning on the Face webinar, or I'll see you in the chat rooms. Thanks, everybody.